Oh man, I can't look at stream comments. Fix that. Man. Now I should be able to look at here.
Don't let somebody.
That's so funny. It's wow, the latency is really quick. I can hear it over there really fast. That's cool. Wow, the latency is really quick. All right, awesome. Here is that, and then I can see the chat. Okay, cool. What's up, everybody? Jack here, and this is Lucas. What's up, Lucas?
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
So this week is going to be a little bit different because Rita and Bray are not going to be able to make it. So this is actually a more traditional live stream. And if you want to ask any kind of questions in the live chat, you have the opportunity to dictate what we end up talking about. All right. No one's listening yet. So we're going to start by what me and Lucas were just looking at, which is demographic information. Basically, I have a bunch of advertising campaigns that I've run, and Lucas was surprised by the demographics that you could look at. So let's talk about that, Lucas. Why were you interested in that? Why were you surprised that I could just see and pick that I don't want any males or females to see my specific video?
It was interesting because it was the thing that triggered it originally was you were talking to me and Eric, another friend that we have, about how you had observed that almost all of your viewers were either parents or interested in retirement. And then you mentioned that something on Google Analytics that's built in is being able to observe whether your viewers are a parent or not just by a yes or no filter, which is, super powerful and kind of interesting that you're able to actually see everybody's user data that easily.
And is there any way that you can increase your volume? Oh, I know why. It's because you're muted in Zoom. That's why I can't hear you. I can hear you in real life. Talk again?
Can you hear me now?
No, you weren't me. Okay, so I can hear you, but very little, very barely. I can hear you because you're talking in the other room, but in my headphone, I can barely hear. Oh, maybe that's actually me. Wait, keep going.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because if I couldn't hear you properly, that meant anyone listening couldn't hear you properly, but it's actually just my headphones, and now they're fixed.
Okay. Quick rundown. It was super interesting to me that you're able to filter all of your views that easily based on demographics. And once we looked at it a little bit more, it was pretty interesting what Google actually presents to you as options and what doesn't. It seems like male, female would definitely affect ad rates, especially depending on what you're advertising. Maybe you're advertising, tampons. You want to filter for men. You don't need to waste money showing them the ad.
Yeah.
But the fact that parents versus not a parent is one of the things that's built in right alongside gender was really interesting to me. It's interesting that it's that divisive in what kind of products you want to offer.
Yeah, that's something I was confused about in the beginning as well, because this isn't just something on Google, it's also something on Facebook. Basically, any marketing opportunity will allow you to pick whether you want to focus on people who are parents, people who are unknown, or people who are not parents. And it very much is a divider. Like for me, in my analytics, the difference between male and female isn't that intense. And with parent and non-parent, it's not incredibly intense. Like it's not like, okay, parents are double as likely to engage in your content as non-parents, but it is observable. So I think what would be good for now is if I show you guys what kind of metrics you have access to as a YouTuber, you can see information about the kind of people watching your videos, okay? This is separate from what we were just talking about, which is advertising. We also have different metrics that are available for advertising. So I'm going to show you guys the screen for YouTube. We're going to go to my YouTube channel, and then I'm going to just break down the general analytics that we have access to on a given video. So for now, let's look at this. Which video should we use? Example? I guess I should probably use one of my most viewed videos because that has the most data, right? So we're going to look at this video, which is about drop shipping, and it's listing a bunch of items in a very little amount of time using a tool that basically doesn't exist anymore. Okay, we're going to go to analytics, and then we're going to look at all the different metrics that we keep track of. Okay, so surprisingly, this video has only gotten 2 subscribers. That's really interesting because I don't do dropshipping. But this is basically all irrelevant. What we want is our audience metrics for the purpose of this conversation. Let's see what. Okay, age and gender in the YouTube video. Keep in mind, this is an organic YouTube video. So it's actually not showing us very useful information. Considering this video has like 70,000 views, we don't want to look at the last 28 days. That's a problem. We want since uploaded. Now this should change. Okay, cool. So now we can see, whoa, that's pretty insane. Okay, so of the people who viewed this most popular video I have about drop shipping, this is very specific to drop shipping, 95% of them were male. Okay, and this is something that is...
It's almost irrelevant how many... Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's a drop shipping trend. In general, there are way more males interested in drop shipping than females. I don't know why. But for just so you guys know, this is counter to what most of my other videos and metrics show. In general, like let's look at a ad campaign in Google Adsense that is in the United States, and it's about drop shipping, so it's kind of comparable, right? I got to change this. I have a specific ad campaign that was DS Promovid USA campaign. Here we go. This had 2,000. Okay, and if we look at the demographics, this is going to be different because this is an advertisement, so it's shown to everybody. But you can look at the view rates of certain specific demographics. So supposedly, there should be a higher view rate amongst males, which is true. That's confirmed with this campaign. You can see that for this topic of drop shipping, the number of females even showed the ad was way smaller, only 139. Whereas the number of males who were shown the ad is 1,400. And also the view rate for males who dropship was higher. Say again?
The females is close to, it's like 650, right? And the unknown is 139.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was looking at the unknown metric. Yeah, so there was roughly, Google showed double the amount of males this video and half the amount of females, but not by choice. I didn't disable this because you can disable just like that. That means that this ad will no longer show 2 known females on purpose. But I didn't do that. This was enabled. So Google was just showing the ad to everybody. And of those people who were looking for drop shipping, the vast majority of them were male. Double the amount were male than female. And only very few were unknown, which is... but this amount of a ratio of male viewers is really interesting because for a lot of my content, the ratio is much closer to 40 or 60%, depending on the kind of content. Some kind of contents, there's more females watching it, whereas other kind of contents, there's more males. But in general, there's more males. And I perceive that this has nothing to do with males and females and their capabilities. It's more to do with the fact that a lot more males in the world are working to provide for a family than females in the world who are working to provide for a family. Obviously, both can do it, but statistically, there's more men in the world who are the breadwinners versus females. So in general, with drop shipping, a lot of the people who are interested are located in other countries, right? Where some of the kind of gender roles are even more pronounced and intense than they are in the United States. The United States is developing, but in some of these other places, it's how the US was maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where the expectation of the male to provide for the family is much stronger, right? So we could compare that real quick, I think, by looking at reach of this video and then looking at the countries that it comes from. Maybe that's an audience, actually. I'm not sure. Oh, top countries, yeah. Okay, United States was 50%, and all the other countries are the rest. So this is actually irrelevant because most of the people who watch this video were located in the United States. And normally that kind of demographical data isn't that. But Lucas, is there anything in particular you want to explore or look at?
On this, it's kind of hard. You're doing a good job of explaining. I'd be interested to see kind of how the gender ratio stacks up for most YouTube videos. Like YouTube as a whole, is it more males watching than females? Because then that'll account for a lot of,
Yeah.
you have just as many males watching
So,
your dropshipping.
let's look at a couple other videos. This is a very dropshippy video. So instead of that, let's look at a more general YouTube video that I've done. And let's sort it by views so we have a lot of data. Most of the first couple of videos are going to be very dropshipping related, right? This macro video, so we can look at this macro video. However, it is specifically people who are playing video games. So keep that in mind before we look at the analytics.
How did you come to that conclusion?
The comments are all people who are like, how do I do this in Minecraft? How do I do this in World of Warcraft? How do I do this in RuneScape? How do I do this in this game? Like, it's all comments from people who play video games who are trying to make macros to allow them to play the games more. This is actually one of my most viewed videos, which is interesting because it was just like somebody was like, hey, Jack, can you make a quick tutorial about how to use macros? And I was like, okay, here's the video. And I never thought anything more about it, but it's one of my most viewed videos now. So let's look at the audience. And okay, in this one, it's 100% male? What the fuck? I'm super confused. That's impossible.
That's literally impossible. You had to have filtered it or YouTube filtered it.
What? Yeah, I can't. So this isn't an ad. This is a YouTube video. It is impossible for me to pick who is able to view this video. It is interesting to see that 99% of the people who view this video are not subscribed to me. For reference, typically, that metric is around between 40 and 60%. So maybe, okay, what I'm doing here is I'm looking at exception cases. These are videos that got an unusual amount of attention. So
can we look at the countries a little bit more there? I saw US is the top one, which makes sense with the video games theory, but right underneath that you had the Philippines and Indonesia, which are both...
yeah, Indonesia is almost 5%.
Yeah, but those are both virtual assistant hubs.
Yeah.
Which again is a male-dominated industry.
Whoa, and only 14% of the views come from the US. That's crazy. This is a very worldwide video then. For reference, my other videos are like 50 to 90% US. Very interesting.
Can you hit the see more for me?
No, oh, you're right. Google must be filtering this. Because it's impossible that no one between the ages of 13 and 65 saw the video, but
None of these people are subscribed to you either. This got pushed on some kind of macros search.
that's really interesting.
Like nobody, 1.1%.
Yeah. Which doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, that's really weird.
This got filtered by some kind of algorithm outside of you, it seems like.
Well, it must be, because that's the only way that things get huge amount of views. A video never organically just gets loads of views. It is organically proven to be worth watching, and then it gets pushed.
But why did it get pushed only to men?
Yeah. Only to men between the age of 25 and 34.
Primarily outside of the country, because most of your organic traffic comes from the US.
Yeah.
So what demographic are they? So something about YouTube's algorithm decided that people outside of the US, in a certain age range that were men, were who they were going to push this video to.
Yeah, and I don't think it's outside of the US. I think it's just they picked the age range and the keywords being searched for and the gender. But they didn't filter it based on country. Because you can see that in the other metrics, it was 100% one and 0 of everything else, whereas this is more typical. You see a very wide spread across a whole bunch of different countries.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
But that's really interesting. Yeah, I hadn't realized that. So we're literally looking at Google pushing a video and what it chose to push that video towards, which was males between 25 and 34. Very
My
interesting.
theory is that whenever you hit critical mass to receive a push, right? Because say that it's 100 views, and up until that, YouTube just considers it spam. A substantial amount of the people who viewed it, maybe 100% even, were within that demographic, and that's why they decided to push it.
Yeah, so they just picked the biggest.
Yeah, they showed that it had gained traction within a certain subset, so they wanted to continue pushing it to that subset where it had already shown results.
So let's look at a video that doesn't have a whole lot. We need to look at a one with a bunch of views, but that is a different subject. Here we go. So this is the one about Nicaragua. This is one of my most popular videos about real estate in Nicaragua. Okay. So we're going to look at the analytics. We're going to change this. So instead of last 28 days, it's showing lifetime. Wow, it got a there. So now let's look at our audience. Scroll down. Male 100. Maybe this isn't accurate. There's no way that no female ever saw this video. That doesn't make sense. That's impossible. I know for a fact that I have female friends in Nicaragua who have seen this video.
So what we're talking about at that point is how accurate is YouTube's labeling system and their profile tracking. Obviously Google has a better sense of who their users are than they're displaying to you as a content creator. Because there's no way that YouTube thinks that 100% of these viewers have been female either, or been male rather.
Yeah, there's basically no way for 100% to ever exist. That doesn't make sense. It's not feasible. Yeah, I don't understand what that could be. Maybe if we change this, so instead of since uploaded, it's like 90 days. See. It just shows not enough data. Very interesting. So what about an average video? What if I just look at a video I did that is old, so it has more views, but it's not really that special, it wasn't pushed?
On the 90 days tab, it gives you information about countries, about other demographics, about age, and it gives you nothing about male versus female, which is a significantly easier metric to measure, even with small data.
Yeah. And what's so weird is that gender across Google AdSense campaigns is way more, like, it always notices, okay, this is one example where males had a 31% view rate, females had a 27% view rate, and 670 females were shown this ad, and 1,300 males were shown the ad. Whereas if I change the ad and I look at a different one, for example, let's use a current active one, has the most, which would be this one, just about Nicaragua being the best country to, or one of the best countries to earn money online, right? If I click on it, then I go to demographics, and I go to gender. Yeah, we can see this is typical. This is what I'm used to. Like, it's almost identical, right? You can see that there 1,120 females were shown this ad, and 51% of them viewed it for more than 30 seconds. And 1,236 males were shown the ad, and 51% of them viewed it for more than 30 seconds. This is super typical. So maybe what we're finding
It
is
is
that
interesting.
YouTube doesn't accurately show male or female viewers, whereas Google AdSense of a YouTube video does, which is weird because this is information about a video on YouTube. This is also information about a video on YouTube by the same company.
Something that I noticed that was interesting on the tab that you just showed between males, females, and unknowns who watched the ad was that males and females were both in like very tight range in between 50 and 51%.
Yeah.
But unknown was at 26%.
Yeah, unknown was way, way less. But it also, unknown only has 1/10 of the amount of data as the female and male. So you shouldn't ever really, you can only compare metrics when there's a similar amount of data. So like these two are comparable because there's around 1,000, but it's completely possible that this 127 number is heavily biased, and once it gets to 1,000 unknowns, it actually is closer to the male and female rate.
Yeah, that's called a proportional weight.
Yeah. But it seems to be, there seems to be some difference in YouTube. So I think what I can do here, I think you're right in that Google is seeing what videos to push it on YouTube to, and they're targeting the demographical information that most views the video before it gets pushed. So theoretically, I can find a video that I've published that has most of the viewers are people who are subscribed to me, so that they're outside of this YouTube pushing, and theoretically, that should have a more even ratio of males to females. So I need to find a video where my subscribers watched it, but no one else.
What does your subscriber base look like? Like, is it mostly male still?
I don't think there's actually a way to see what your subscribers are. You can just see that they exist, and when they watch videos, you can observe the metrics on that video, but you can't actually see.
Get a list of usernames and stuff.
Yeah, but they don't. Google doesn't give you any kind of analytical information about those usernames. You just see that they're subscribed to you. You don't get the analytics until they watch a video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of my less viewed videos that is public, because all of these are not even, these are all private videos. They're not even public. I have a fuckload of private videos. Let's plays. Okay, that makes sense. We need to find a video that has a decent amount of views, but that I'm confident is all my subscribers. All of these are Let's Plays. It's pretty funny. I've never actually looked at my least viewed videos. I've always looked at most viewed videos. I need to keep going. There's some that aren't related, but we need more information. We probably need like 300 or 400 views, and for me to feel like only the people watching are subscribed to me. So I'm gonna skip a couple here. Let's find one with 200 views. Here we go. Okay, so might be a good one. Go to analytics. I think this video is a good example because it wasn't pushed by YouTube. So theoretically, that means that it should have an even ratio of male to female. There's enough data. There's not enough demographic data. Okay, gotta go back. I gotta find something with more views that was viewed by my subscribers, but not pushed by YouTube. So this was around 200. Change this page. Page number, order. Crap, I don't see. Whatever. I'm just gonna keep looking. I guess we need to find a video that has, let's try like 500 views. Someone's alarm's going off. Or a phone call. Exactly 1 p.m. though. Come on, 500. Where are you? 3 more pages? Almost there. Here we go. Okay, this is about Dark Souls. Don't care about that. 4 stages of self-employment. Here we go. See? Analytics. Published. Audience. Dang, there's still not enough demographic data. How does it not have enough demographic data about whether they're male or female?
It's obviously limiting that in some way. It's trying to obscure your like knowledge of that because it's giving you decimal points on percentages on what country they're in.
But not showing whether they're male or female.
Yeah, no, I think it's an attempt to try and cover those kinds of.
Oh, maybe they don't even track if it's male or female unless they're pushing it.
And then,
or at least they don't show that.
And then that would explain why it's so specific on Adsense, is because you can't have a video on Adsense that isn't being pushed to some degree.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. That's the whole. Interesting. Okay, let's try. I'm going to keep trying this. Supposedly, we can eventually get to a video that was really popular with my subscribers, but not with unsubscribed people. Maybe 1,000 is enough. That's pretty funny. If you filter all my videos by what videos got 1,000 views or less, 990 out of 1,000 of the videos are. So we just went through 90% of all the videos I ever made. Okay, drop shipping. Buying, living. Hey, here's a Nicaragua video. This should supposedly have an even rate. Unless it was never pushed, in which case there was never. That looks like pushing. Interesting. So does the age and gender category on YouTube only show up if the video was pushed by YouTube? I think that's entirely possible. We're almost at the end of my videos here. Hey, you can see most of my videos, the vast majority of them, like 98% of them, have less than 3,000 views. And supposedly, once we get to the last page here, just going to go up a lot. Now it's at like 3,000, so probably this page it'll go, okay, 4,000. Let's pick one of these non-drop shipping videos. Drop shipping. Here we go, Nicaragua video. Oh no, that's so interesting. So YouTube doesn't appear to record male or female viewers unless it's being pushed. That's very interesting.
It's unlikely that they don't record that.
They're just not showing it to me.
They don't give it to you. Yeah. I think it makes sense. So the first thing I asked when you pulled up what you were able to filter your videos by was, are you able to do it by race? Because that really gets into a lot of ethically gray areas where you can
No,
exclude
you
a lot
can't
of
do it by
people.
race. There's no metrics that change by race. You can do it by country, but that's it.
That's attempts to try and discourage things like that because gender is against such a category. But there are cases like we discussed with tampons or condoms. You're going to have intense gender divides on who you want to be advertising to, but you also want to discourage the ability to publish sexist content that only men see and things like that.
Okay, what about this YouTube video? It's about Nicaragua. It's not about dropshipping. And it has the amount of views that indicate it was probably pushed. Nothing. That's so interesting because even the most basic campaign in Google AdSense will show you demographical data based on sex. Very interesting. I feel like I learned something about YouTube. Okay. I gotta take a second and look at chats. What's up, Axel, Garuba, and Gail Zafir? Oh, yo, you're from Nicaragua. That is awesome, man. It's awesome to hear from you guys. Rows per page. Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. So I was scrolling through over and over again doing this. Got to go back to the video page. Here we go. I was scrolling over and over, clicking on the buttons, but then he was being like, Jack, you can just click on rows per page and change this to 50. I still would have had to click a whole bunch of times, but I'm going to do that now. It's very interesting. So almost none of my YouTube videos have demographical data about male or female. That's super weird, man. Huh. Well, all right. I guess now we can transition into the goals. I had a rough week with my goals, but I'll talk about that after Lucas, because Lucas actually did most.
I did most of mine, but I definitely didn't finish up. My goal was to finish.
2.5 out of 3 is finishing.
It's like 2.25.
Still.
No. I definitely. So I needed to make 3 Ruby on Rails lectures and to complete 3 Ruby on Rails projects. I completely finished 2 of those, thanks to a pretty much all-nighter that I pulled on Thursday. But I did not finish the 3rd lecture or lesson. But I did start. I did start writing all of my notes for the lecture.
Nice. Yeah, and you'd mentioned when we were in the grocery store that you probably wouldn't have done any of that had you not joined some group or something, made some.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely not. I knew Ruby on Rails was something I wanted to do, and these classes are important to me. But there were a lot of reasons why I would have been slacking this week. It was a rough week at work in general, and there wasn't a lot of enthusiasm in the Ruby group itself. So
Crazy. That like accountability factor is insane. Yo, Axel joined? What? Are you really here? Are you gonna talk?
he's connected to audio.
You there, Axel?
I'm here, guys. Good afternoon.
What's up, man?
Man, a lot. I can't even begin to start. Hey, Lucas. I am Maxwell, and I used to work for Jack Pittman as his virtual assistant. Yeah, that would be, yeah. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Awesome. So you guys just carry on and just forget that I'm here. So please just carry on, guys.
Oh man, but this is a group meeting, and none of the other group people can make it this week. So this is just a random live stream, and you've now thrown yourself into the fray. So I want to ask how you're doing, what's going on, what's been new with your life, and all.
Man, things has been crazy, man. It's just like I said earlier, I don't know where to start. I got a bunch of clients now, and I'm starting to outsource now, rather than just take them all up myself. I outsource. I'm a copywriter, by the way, Lucas. You know.
Yeah, I remember when you were doing some work with Jack back in the day, but I haven't heard your name come up in a while.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hi. You in Nicaragua as well, or in the States?
Yeah, we're actually in the same house right now. He's
Nicaragua.
Same house. Oh, that's awesome. Jack, sorry, I haven't been watching a lot of your videos lately. How's it in Nicaragua? The lockdown wise, quarantine wise, everything okay?
Compared to the rest of the world, it's like, okay, if you go to like an expensive grocery store, maybe 90% of the people there are wearing masks. But you go to a more local market where most of the people buy food, less people wearing masks. The government has said to do social distancing. If you go to a doctor and ask what social distancing means, they'll tell you, okay, try not to be in a group of more than 4 or 5 people. Try not to go out and do stuff unless you absolutely have to. And that's basically it.
Jack, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for cutting you off. What you've just said has just blown my mind. It's blowing my mind because here in the Philippines, it's like the quarantine is like martial law. It's like military stuff. Like the military is literally out there on the streets, literally beating people with sticks, combat sticks, if they break
Yeah, it's
the quarantine.
definitely
Yeah,
not like that here at
beating them with
all.
sticks. As in, there's video footage of military people beating the shit out of people that's breaking the quarantine rules, and these people just wants to go to the market to
By
purchase
food.
groceries,
Yeah.
buy food, and they're gonna get beaten the hell out by military people. And you're seeing that there in Nicaragua, people doesn't even know about social distancing.
Yeah, there's some people here who don't. Yeah, definitely.
And why haven't you made a video about this? Have you made a video about that? Like you walking around the
I've
street?
made a YouTube video about the office that we just rented, and then I made another YouTube video that I haven't published yet about how to find a place to rent in Nicaragua, but no, I haven't made any
Well,
content about COVID
you
really.
gotta make a title like here I am walking around Nicaragua, something along those lines. I'm thinking like a copywriter now.
Yeah.
You gotta make that video, man. What you just said just blew my mind. I'm thinking like maybe you and the Lucas. The reason why you guys are like not in the same screen is like maybe it's very strict down there in Nicaragua. That's why I asked. I
No,
was
it's
thinking that
because we
maybe
have
it was
feedback
like
loops if we're next to each other.
fuck. There you go. Sorry, man. Pardon the French. I'm like, okay, the guys are in the same building. I'm not curious as to why they're separated. Probably there in Nicaragua, people are getting their shit kicked, their teeth kicked for like being together. But nah, you're going to
No.
groceries. Your
No,
life as
basically,
usual.
the government here hasn't really said or done much of anything.
And
The
how about the
borders to
data?
Nicaragua
How
are still open.
Yeah,
and how about the yes? Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Lucas.
more the late response, not too much of a response.
What was my next question was how about data? How about the like the COVID, the infection? How many are people dying left and right in your country or not? Is it the same thing as the other countries?
We're just starting to see a spike in cases now.
Mhm.
We're kind of at the beginning of the exponent.
Yeah, but it's also widely understood that the amount of cases reported aren't accurate and that there's actually way more people who are sick. But also you need to understand the economical condition of Nicaragua in the first place. Yo, Bray came! Bray, you're here! Oh my god! Bray!
Yay! Yes, sir. What's up?
You just blew my mind.
What's
Oh
up,
my
Lucas?
god.
I barely made it. Barely.
You made it though! I haven't seen you in like 3 weeks, man.
Yeah, yeah. The time's been changing up, and I just haven't. I've been forgetting every time. Forgetting every time. Now I got an alert set on my calendar.
Nice, that's awesome. So Axel was just asking some questions about the COVID situation here in Nicaragua, and he
Hey,
was very
Bray,
surprised.
Axel from the Philippines.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, Axel. That's what's up.
The
Sup,
Philippines
man?
government does have a history of being more martial law oriented.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
the Nicaraguan government has a history of harming protesters, but also is terrified of protests and terrified of these
Hmm.
gatherings happening and is very hesitant to do anything about anything. So, like here, for
Yo, yeah.
example, all private sector people wear masks, but no public government worker wears masks. And that's very much because they don't want people to be like, you think you're above us
Mm-hmm.
and we're
You're
not,
above
and
us. Yeah,
we're gonna riot or something. They're very much like the government is super scared here because of protests
definitely.
and they're like super
They're
scared.
just scared of the protesters.
Yeah.
In general,
Uh,
the government is more scared of the people here than the people are of the government. And it's a little kind of backwards from the Philippines, maybe.
uh, nah, government ain't that scared of the protesters. They tear gas the hell out of the protesters. I want to get the
That's what
brother
Lucas is
Bray
saying
in
is
the loop.
different. Because in Nicaragua, the government is scared of the protesters, whereas in the
Uh,
Philippines, the government acts like they're not scared of the protesters.
Boss, I just want to get Braylon in the loop. Brother, where are you from? The U.S.,
Florida.
Florida. Do you know that these two guys, Jack and Lucas, they could go outside the street whenever they want. They can no curfew, no nothing like that. Did you know that, brother?
Yeah. It wasn't. They didn't go on too big of a lockdown.
There's like
Yeah,
no
it's blowing my
lockdown.
mind. It's blowing my mind, man. How about Florida? Strict? Does any
Well, I
curfews?
mean, in the beginning, there was a lockdown going on,
Mm-hmm.
but now everything is opened up. So today, just today, everything completely opened up, and they're
Oh,
doing
I
little
see.
guidelines of capacity rules here and there. So you can't have too many people in the restaurant and stuff. So they're doing a little limitation, limit.
You
But
mean
So now you're experiencing what it's like here in Nicaragua.
in Florida,
Yeah, because here, like, I went to go get internet, for example, and I had to go to the office, and they were like, there was a line at the door and a lot of space in between each person because they were
yeah,
only letting 10 people into the office at once. And then when
okay.
someone leave, they would let a new person in, but you
But
weren't
when did they
allowed to like
start
wait
doing
in the
that?
lobby. Complicated.
Nicaragua shut down.
When did they start doing that for you guys?
Maybe a month or two. Okay, they is confusing because the people doing these things here are private sector. So they're businesses who
Oh.
don't want liability of their employees getting sick. So they're adding protective measures to make sure that they can keep operating. It's not like an ethical, they're not like trying to be good. They're literally like trying to maintain profitability and trying to be preventative. So all the businesses here, the private businesses that are like corporates, companies, they all are wearing masks, they have shields, all this kind of stuff. Whereas the entrepreneurial individuals don't necessarily.
I would say
Hmm.
consistency too. Even when you go between different stores, they have different guidelines and things. Like not all of them have sneeze guards. Some of them do. Some have all of the employees wearing masks. Some have a few employees wearing
Yeah.
masks.
Like if
It,
you go to the Walmart here, there's a station for you to choose to wash your hands if you want to. Whereas if you go to La Colonia, then you put your hands like this when you enter, and then they're sprayed, and then they temperature dot check your forehead to make sure you don't have a fever. And then if you don't have a
Hey.
fever, you're allowed to enter.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that's a big difference. Okay.
But
Wow.
keep in mind, this is in La Colonia, which is a store that only wealthier people shop at. So, of course, that demographic is going to be more likely to engage in these kind of activities. Whereas if you go to like a Pali, which is a supermarket that is much more affordable, then you don't have these same kind of precautions. I actually haven't been to a Pali recently, so I'm not sure how it is there. A lot of
Hmm.
places do the hand spray thing. That's it.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's good that at least they're doing a little something. Not just opening all the way up, just gradually going. Because I heard Japan, they opened up and then they had to close back down again. And yeah, I don't think some states would take that too kindly.
And in the U.S., it's a yeah, because here in Nicaragua, there's already epidemics and things that are happening here that are relatively normal. Like all the mosquito-borne illnesses are a big problem here. There's a lot
Mm.
of other illnesses and things that are killing people that it's kind of more regular to have instability here. So for the US, it's much more jarring because they're used to a higher level of stability. Whereas here in Nicaragua, like 2 years ago, Nicaragua experienced this shutdown of the economy, but only in Nicaragua. So now the whole world is experiencing something similar to what Nicaragua felt 2 years ago. But they've been through these kind of things. They've had these experiences. So I smell like toast. Do you smell like something burning, Lucas?
it smells like pizza again, but I've been smelling pizza all day.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't setting a fire or something.
I think it's next door.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we got a new office, Bray.
Okay.
So me, Lucas, and Eric, one of our other friends, are renting an office, and the total price for a fully furnished 2-bedroom house with a yard and a mango tree is $325. So for each of us, with utilities, we're talking about like $150 basically.
Man, living the life. There we go,
Yeah.
man. There you
So
go.
now we have a house we live at, and we have this house where we come to work and do technology stuff. So today I woke up and I had an alarm. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have a computer. I didn't look at either of them. I went out and I watered the plants in the garden, and then I played with my cat for a while, and that was how I started my day. And then I was thinking like, oh, I want to go over to the other house to play a video game. I want to go over there. I want to go over there. And then I got here, and it's like having that other space. Oh man, it is amazing for mental health.
There we go. Okay.
Jackster, Axel here. Jack, I want to touch on what you just said, that you just woke up and that you didn't touch your laptop, you didn't touch your mobile phone. I want to touch on that. See, since the clients have been pouring in, I'm like kind of have a phobia or a fear of laptops and mobile phones. I'm like, my wife's gonna say, Kelsey, Greg sent a notification. I'm like, nah, I don't wanna look at it. I don't wanna touch it. I'll touch it during my working hours. I set up working hours for
Let me
myself.
be free.
Yeah, because like I don't wanna look at laptops anymore. Like, nah, I just wanna be like you said. You water your plants first, and then you thought of going to the other house to maybe play video games. But at what time did you actually open the notifications, Jack? At what time? Since you woke up?
I
Since
still haven't. I got here, and then me and Lucas went to the grocery store to get some food, and then we came back to this house, and I started this call, and I still haven't checked everything.
and the reason is
Oh,
in the
this is
ballpark
because
of
I
mine.
lost my phone 3 days ago. Just so
There you
you
go.
know, that's the main reason.
Not because of like you don't want to get stressed out of the starting work. Like, is it in the
Yeah.
ballpark
No,
of what
no,
I'm
that
feeling?
definitely is a reason, but I don't want anyone listening to think that I actually have enough self-control to not look at things for
Gotcha.
like 3 or 4
Gotcha.
hours. That's not true. The reality is I dropped my phone in the street and somebody took it. So I don't have the ability to look at these notifications anymore unless I come to my laptop. But today I came to my laptop and started this call. So
I can speak to that a little bit. I've kept pretty good working hours for a while, Monday through Friday. All of my work happens online on an app called Slack that a lot of people use.
Yeah.
And I try to give myself 2 hours in between when I wake up and when I log on to Slack. Otherwise, my entire day is spent at work.
Slack, work, office. Jack, you gotta get me in the loop, man. You gotta get me in the loop. What's this? I know Slack. I have like 7 channels on Slack. Gotta keep in the loop, man. What are you up to, man? What you
Lucas
guys
can
up to?
explain. He's a student and a teacher
Oh,
at this thing.
I work separately from anything that's kind of happening in this call. I just meant in the sense of trying to keep your work life separate from when you're relaxing and stuff like that. Trying to keep specific work hours. For me, it's really helpful to keep space in the morning in between when I wake up and when I actually check notifications for work and see what's been going on.
And what about if I assume you have a boss or a client? What about if they're like, Lucas, it's been 5 hours. You haven't replied to my messages. It's kind of important, Lucas. How do you deal with those kind of responses from the employers or clients?
My bosses and I guess so. I have students, so in this case, I guess my students are kind of my clients. But when I first begin in working relationships, I give working hours and I tell them I might respond outside of these, but never expect me to.
Students, curious. And what you teaching, brother? What are you teaching?
So I don't. The program I work for is a little complicated, but they're all programming students.
Oh,
Yeah,
JavaScript and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. JavaScript. They're learning Node.js and React. So I help them learn that.
Last question. It's very rare that I talk to a coder. Uh, you got any SEO skills?
Not very much, no. That if I needed to do something like that, I would probably head over to a virtual assistant kind of site, somebody with more experience than me.
Well, let's say just I have a website. I have 100 pages.
Okay.
Actually, let's say 200 pages,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden, 50 of uh, those web pages being blogs. All of a sudden, 50 of those web pages drop in the rankings. This happened actually.
Okay.
50 of them drop in the rankings, as in whoop, down. What do you think would have caused this? 50 at the same time.
I
Whoop,
I have
down
a
in the
theory.
rankings in the SERP. Go ahead, sir.
It depends how they're tagged, and if they all have similar correlation. The most likely thing is a competitor. Say that they're all blogs about travel, or they're all blogs about something to do with the Philippines, maybe. If a competitor came in and was paying to boost their own rankings, or with competitive optimization, then you're going to see their rankings go above yours.
What I'm thinking, what my hypothesis is, those we create what we call a pillar pages. Pillar pages means a web page that's interlinked to, let's say, one pillar page is connected to 10 blog posts internally linked. They're not really called backlinks because they're internal links to this web page. I'm thinking maybe those 10 blog posts, maybe one of them uh, has very horrible content that Google penalize. Will the pillar content be dragged? And if yeah, will it drag everything? Will it drag the pillar content if one of those? I'm sorry, I'm just talking gibberish. For example, one web page connected to 10 blogs. One of those blogs is penalized by Google, and it's connected, interlinked.
Penalized,
So
penalized in what way?
let's say duplicate plagiarism, duplicate content. Will the pillar page, which is connected to that penalized blog, be affected?
I don't know enough about SEO to answer that question. My immediate guess would be yes. Any kind of link between pages is recorded
It's gonna be affected.
when Google makes their web scrapes. That's logged into something called metadata for the web page itself.
Especially when you use the anchor text as the URL itself. And thank you, Lucas, for your professional opinion, man. Thanks so much. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I am not an SEO expert, but that is an interesting case study to think about.
I would encourage you, Axel, to not think of it as Google necessarily limiting the traffic so much as a push from Google ending. Does that make sense? That distinction?
Can you kindly elaborate, Jack?
If you just have double content, the penalty is a real thing to think about.
Yeah. And neither one of us are SEO, and we don't have enough experience to fully answer that question. But another perspective for you to consider, Axel, is that content on Google, well, content gets pushed, right? But content doesn't get pushed infinitely. It gets pushed for a specific amount, and then the data is analyzed, and then if a repush is justified, it'll push it again for a certain amount. Then it'll stop. It'll observe the data and repush. Okay, so you have these pulses, right?
Pulses.
And I can show you something real quick, actually.
Please do.
Can you see the screen on the live stream?
I can see you.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Let me go to the right screen before I share it, though. I'm going to show you a YouTube video that I made recently. We're going to look at the analytics, and you're going to see exactly where it was being pushed and exactly where that push ended. Okay. Now I just need to share my screen. Share this one. Share. Okay. You can see my screen now, right?
There you go. Yep, can see it.
Okay, this chart is highly abnormal for a YouTube video. This is not how YouTube videos look. What normally happens is a slow curve, right? Whether it's angled or linear, that is not what this is. This was pushed by Google between Thursday, May 7th, and that same day. Actually, for exactly 12 hours, this was pushed, right?
Oh, did you notice that that's down to the minute? That's crazy.
Yeah, this is exactly 12 hours.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to get at, Axel, is that say that you start recording in this period, at this little bump, and then it ends. I could think, okay, Google doesn't like this video. They don't like what I'm doing because this bump ended. But the reality is that's not how pushes work from Google. Google gives you a period of time in a spotlight, a period of hours, or a period of views where they're like, okay, we're going to put you here until you get X percentage increase in views. Then we're going to stop. We're going to give your video time, and we're going to see how it performs before we do it again. So what I'm suggesting to you is that you may have actually just experienced a push that ended. Not, oh, you did something and you're now being
Makes
punished.
sense.
I'm not saying
Makes
that's
sense. Makes
true
sense.
for sure. I'm just saying that that is one of the possibilities, okay?
Gotcha. Just want to add that YouTube's algorithm is a mystery to me, and it's a mystery as well
Dude, the
to
whole
any
fucking
SEO.
first part
To
of
any
this
SEO
video
expert,
call was me and Lucas
there
being
there
confused by
is
YouTube.
there is no SEO expert around that can say that can confidently say I'm a YouTube analytics wizard. No, YouTube's algorithm is a mystery. So yeah, thank you for that explanation, Jack. What you're implying is that maybe the push ended, and I'm like, whoa, why did it stop? Why did it stop ranking? It might be Google's. It might be. Yes. Thank you, bro.
A possibility, yeah. It could also be
Yeah.
that the duplicate content thing is a problem and that they stopped that. That is possible as well. But it's not guaranteed for sure. Anyway, Bray hasn't talked in a while, so Lucas and I talked, or no, Lucas talked a bit about the goal thing. So Bray, we're now at the point of the call where we're gonna make new goals. And because you weren't able to join the past couple weeks, we're just gonna be like, okay, what are you doing? What do you want to work on? And we're gonna set a goal for next.
Okay. Okay. Well, I did pretty bad on my
Don't worry,
last
man. I
goal.
did horrible on my most recent goal. Like so horrible, it fucked with my head, and I felt ashamed. I went through a whole emotional rut.
What? Was it a goal towards the Spanish content?
Yeah, and I just didn't want to do it,
Oh,
dude. I
yeah,
like
yeah, I
didn't.
know.
I literally was like, I'm not gonna do this, and I did fuckloads of other stuff. I did a bunch of manual labor and work in real life. I did a bunch of YouTube content, a bunch of editing, a bunch of other stuff that I'd been procrastinated. I did everything except make the next course for that website. But yeah,
It seemed like you just got burned out a little bit, man. Maybe
I don't know if it's burned out. Is it? I didn't
back of your
anticipate.
head.
I just got a new office. Okay,
Okay.
and in my head I was
Okay.
like, that's irrelevant. That doesn't matter. No, in reality, I want to be here all the time. I want to be buying new stuff for the office. I want to be digging a giant fucking hole in the yard. I want to be climbing the mango tree. I want to be doing all of these other things that have nothing to do with my Spanish content website at the moment. That's my reality. And I wanna be a person who is just working on this all the time, but now I see that that's not what I actually want to work on at this moment, even though I know it's the most important thing for me to do in my life.
Okay. Okay. I understand. I understand that completely. We just go through those ruts. That's all.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not making a goal about the Spanish content website this week. I learned my lesson.
well, I'm going to make my goal about still doing the Spanish. I want to do Spanish once a day.
On
At least
Duolingo.
study up. Yeah, Duolingo. Yeah, I need that. What I forgot what it was. It was like 2 lessons a day.
Yeah, that's customizable. So the way this is perfect actually, because theoretically, if you do this right, then on the next meeting, if you didn't do any Duolingo yesterday, you will have a 7-day streak in Duolingo that you can
Yeah,
show.
yep. So it lets me know right away, and I can post it. I can show it, but like, yep, I did it for 7 days.
Nice.
So I'm gonna do that because I really want to get on top. At least, say hey to people in Spanish and be able to purchase some fruit or something.
Yeah.
If I go somewhere.
Hola,
Yeah,
yo
right.
quiero fruta.
See, you got it. You got it. You're in the midst of it.
Send me on
So, say again, Lucas?
Send me on Duolingo.
Yeah, Lucas likes Duolingo.
Oh, you're on follow you on it? Okay.
Yeah, follow or connect or friend or whatever their word for it is.
Right, okay.
So, Bray,
I have to post it in the Discord.
how are you going to make sure that you do Duolingo each day?
I set reminders. And if I ignore those reminders, I know something's going on, something's wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm follow my reminders.
Nice. Okay, so you have like a notification system. But what if you lose your phone in the street and then you never have it again?
Oh man.
Dude, that happened to
If
me, and I missed a consultation call. I missed a couple other things. I completely forgot about like a whole video I was gonna make, and like it fucked my day up, man. I'm not saying you're gonna lose your phone, but what are you gonna do if that happens?
that is very true. Well, I got insurance on my phone, so I would be able to get one pretty quickly. So hopefully, and then get back onto it. Try to make no excuse about it, but that would be a pretty tempting excuse to use.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I'm just happy when people show up to the goal. So if you show up next week, even if you didn't do your goal at all, I'm super happy.
I got you. Okay. Heck yeah.
So last week, my goal was to basically the week before, I made a bunch of outlines of the Spanish content website and the different courses that are going to be available on the course website. But this was when I should have started noticing that I needed to focus on something else, because I didn't spend a lot of time on the outlines. With the Spanish content website, I often feel really fulfilled and really into the work because of a conversation I have with a local or something else that leads me to be like, whoa, this is super relevant. Like, for example, one of the guards here recently stopped me and was like, oh, so there's a bunch of guards around and they have like assault rifles and stuff and this kind of thing. And I've gotten used to it, completely used to it, right? To the point where this guy was like, oi, he was trying to get my attention. And I didn't care at all. I was like, he's just bored. He's trying to talk to me. It didn't, 2 years ago, I might have felt a bit scared. But in this case, I was like, whatever. And then he was asking me about like what I do for work in this case. And I was just like, boom, Spanish, boom, earn money online, all this stuff, right? And so after that moment, I was like, ooh, I want to talk about this. Tons of things happen like that that make me really feel like it. And that's when I work well. And what I'm seeing now is that because I live here, I can just rely on these triggers happening and me doing work on the Spanish content website. I shouldn't actually be forcing myself to do it because it's something that is so much better when I'm really feeling into it. And I live in an environment that makes me feel into it on a fairly predictable basis anyway. Because basically, I made these outlines, but I really half-assed it. I didn't do it a whole lot. I did outlines for most of the courses, but it was more like identify 5 things each course is going to talk about, which is useful, but it's not a fully fledged outline. I didn't put the amount of work into it that would make a list of videos I just need to make, right? That was the goal, what I talked about. And that's when I could see, my brain is now becoming interested in these other things that are in my life right now, right? So that's why for this week, my goal is to make 2 YouTube videos about the Nicaragua office, where me and Lucas are right now. I started a YouTube series where I show the office, what's being in it, and then I start talking about updates, cost of living, how to find a place, and I just keep talking about living in Nicaragua, and that's the whole series, is videos teaching people what it's like to live in Nicaragua, in Managua, in the capital, as a foreigner, and the logistics of this, what you need to do, how to do stuff. For example, the second episode, which hasn't aired yet but is recorded, is about how to go to Managua as a foreigner and find a place to rent. And that's literally what it explains how to do that and that kind of thing. So the advantage here is that I made a course like 6 months ago about living in Nicaragua that has never made a single sale at all, because I don't do any kind of content where I'm talking about the course. So these videos are perfect because I can be like, yeah, this stuff, useful information, Nicaragua. Oh, and by the way, I have a course with all this information that you can just buy. It's like $10. Go get it. So it very much makes sense for me to pursue that. So my goals, or there's 2 goals actually. One is to make 2 videos for the Nicaragua office series. So I need to do episode 2 and episode 3. And the second one is to publish the next World of Warcraft video, because I'm making a tutorial, and there's something I've been doing in WoW, and I know exactly how to make a really good tutorial because I already made one, and that's like my second most viewed video of all in the current period, of like how many people view it in a 48-hour period. It's consistently this first WoW video that I made. So I'm going to make another one, except I'm going to make it better and improve it. And I know exactly how to do that. And I'm playing WoW all the time, so I'm thinking about it all the time. And when I know I'm going to make a video, when I play, it's so much more fun. It's so much more interesting and enjoyable. And